Welcome to FOCGERS, the go-to place for fans of on-chain games. Today we have a special guest, Jason Chaskin, an Ethereum researcher, writer, and learner at the Ethereum Foundation. What's up, Jason?
Not much. Happy to be here.
Awesome. I have recently come across you, and I understand you are an enthusiast of fully on-chain games, looking to learn more about the space and what's currently popping. This is what we'll be exploring on the call today. Before we dive into it, the classic question that I ask for any FOCGER, fully on-chain game enthusiast, which you are, could you introduce yourself and the path to actually finding out about fully on-chain games for the first time, if you remember?
Yeah, so you had it right. I'm an Ethereum learner, researcher, developer, not so much. But I'm interested in seeing how Ethereum can help improve the world in all various different aspects. Whenever there's like a digitally native substrate, Ethereum naturally needs to be explored. And gaming is an area that is digitally native. And so I think that there is a very unique blend between Ethereum and gaming. I did grow up playing FIFA. And when I would play that game, there was a mode where like you had cards and you had like fake FIFA points to buy the cards. And I always thought, I'm like, oh, what if you could like actually own the cards and own the money and sell the cards? And I think that'd be a natural fit. And then I've learned so much more about like fully on-chain games that go beyond just like owning cards, and every move is actually verifiable by the game. And I think that's super interesting.
You mentioned playing FIFA. A very common way for people to actually start thinking about what blockchain can bring into gaming. Then I remember the conversations that were prevalent in 2021 when I entered the crypto gaming waters. It was mostly around the FIFA example, RuneScape example, World of Warcraft, Diablo 3, Action House was a good example of that, and of course EVE Online. And I think now in 2025, it's been interesting to observe. For example, I was playing an on-chain game, so not a fully on-chain game, which is called Cambria. And it functions very similarly to RuneScape. So people are calling it on-chain RuneScape. And it speaks to many of the properties that people that are RuneScape enthusiasts, what they would potentially like in a crypto game. The thing that really spoke to me initially in 2021, when I started learning about the different crypto games that are in the works, and when I would be meeting these crypto game founders, the majority of them were what we now call Web 2.5 games. But a handful of teams that I met were building fully on-chain games. And the conversations I would have with them were all around how can we utilize blockchain to basically improve gaming, to make the game work for kind of all the different stakeholders that are participating in the game. So developers, creators, the players themselves. How can you create a very interesting kind of asset structure where it benefits everyone? And with fully on-chain games, everything, literally everything is on the blockchain, right? Most things are tradable. So you as a player, you don't need to be selling your account on the black market, for example, if you just want to trade some assets. These are all things that are completely inbuilt in any fully on-chain game, as long as it's 100% fully on-chain. And the forever game aspect is also a major one for me. So if you are settling on Ethereum, let's say, that will mean that as long as the Ethereum blockchain is alive, which hopefully it will be forever, your game is going to be playable, at least the backend structure of the game. The client, anybody can just ship a client, but the backend is the hard part. So that was definitely the thing that kind of sparked my interest, was this forever game model, which is not possible without the game being fully on-chain. So in my eyes, it also brings a lot of value to the world of gaming.
I haven't thought about that forever game. That's such a great point. Like sometimes when I go to my parents' house, I'll try to play old games. And like FIFA in particular, when I try to do like the online modes, it's EA has turned off the servers for this. And so, yeah, that really hits home.
I'm curious, what are some of the fully on-chain games that you've come across just while trying to look at the space?
Yeah, fully on-chain games. I've come across a few of them. I've actually played one of them. It was like a Minecrafty game. I think it was like,
Ioms.
yeah, that was really cool. I'd never played a fully on-chain game before like that. I'm talking to the Eternum team, and their game is fully on-chain slash some AI agent components.
Daydreams agents.
Yes. What were the other ones? Eureka? I
Eureka?
talked to the founder building that game.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
those are the three that come up top of my head.
Eureka is also a game that's very much on my radar, and I've been following since the very early days, probably since the start. So yeah, definitely a great game to pay attention to.
Is Pirate Nation fully on-chain?
Yeah, Pirate Nation is a fully on-chain game. Fully on-chain is a concept that's not entirely understood by the industry, I think. So from my perspective, this brand that I'm publishing with is called FOCGERS. Yeah, so fully on-chain game enthusiasts. But sometimes I also spotlight some on-chain games because I think that the go-to-market approach that some of these games, like the on-chain RuneScape that I mentioned earlier, Cambria, or games like Gigaverse from Dith, they have very good go-to-market strategies. So I'm just creating content about it because I think it can also educate the fully on-chain game space.
I talked to him too, by the way, Diff.
Yeah, Dith.
I forgot about that.
Dith is a great guy. He is the go-to-market guru in my eyes. There is this misconception of what is a fully on-chain game, what is a on-chain game, where they have some meaningful on-chain features, like maybe the leaderboard is entirely on-chain, but not the full game. And then you have Web 2.5, where the only thing that's a crypto element is they have a token outside of the game. Yeah, the lowest denominator for crypto gaming. But then on the other hand, you have something that I've heard several builders deem fully on Ethereum game, a fully on-chain game that utilizes the Ethereum properties to its fullest. Yeah, so anything that Ethereum brings to the table, I'm guessing everybody who's a major Ethereum fanatic, all the things that they enjoy Ethereum for, these games that are fully on Ethereum, they bring exactly the same properties to the game itself. So this means Ethereum grade verifiability across the entire game stack, the state of the game, every action that led to the state, ownership of every tokenized asset in the game, everything is on-chain verifiable. The only way that the game could get corrupted or hacked or turned off is if Ethereum got corrupted, which hopefully it doesn't happen. This is something that really interests a lot of builders, especially at the very start. This is why people started building fully on-chain games, because they saw this crypto gaming and again, like just off-chain games that had some tokens. But then, okay, what's the direct opposite of that? What can we make that's actually beneficial for the gaming ecosystem and that really utilizes all of these properties that kind of crypto enthusiasts like 10 years, 15 years ago came into the space for? So yeah, fully on-chain games or like fully on Ethereum games, they echo this. And this is also the main thing that interested me about crypto gaming years ago. And to a good point, still is. Like absolutely zero centralization points, which is interesting to think about in the scope of games, because the gaming world is usually the direct opposite of that. Everything is controlled by centralized system, all centralized game funds and whatnot. And as you mentioned, the game could just turn off their servers. Yeah, this happened to me with two games growing up. One was Farmville, but the Farmville creator then went on to build Pirate Nation. I don't know if you know that this is the same person.
I did not know that. Wow.
There you go. Yeah, I've been covering Pirate Nation quite a lot. Yeah, big fan of the team over there.
So on a game like Biomes, where everything is on chain, why when you move your character every space, you don't have to do a transaction every time?
So with Biomes, I'm guessing they have something similar to session keys. So this essentially means that you have a seamless experience as a user. Eternum uses the same thing, where as soon as you come into the game, you will make a transaction. You give your session keys.
I'm familiar with session keys. That's super cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's like a major thing that's been popping up in the past year in many of these fully on-chain games. Whereas before you had to literally sign every move. Imagine playing like Diablo and just walking around or FIFA, signing every move. But now it's just session keys. Improves their experience to the fullest. Yeah.
Thank you.
I've also covered Biomes in the past. Big fan of the team over.
Do you have a news channel that you cover them or?
So FOCGERS covers the entire fully on-chain game space. I think I've covered probably more than 60 fully on-chain game teams at this point, and still have months of unpublished interviews with teams. Currently, I'm most focused on Eternum because it is my absolutely favorite game that exists right now in crypto or outside of crypto.
No way.
The kind of the high stakes that Eternum brings with it just make things so much juicier, because I generally enjoy high stakes games. If I can play a game with a hardcore mode where if I die the save file gets lost or something, I'll for sure go for it. And in Eternum you can claim other people's in-game realms, and it kind of functions in a similar way where it's winner takes all from that perspective. And I think Eternum is a nice thing to discuss because Eternum is the most detailed fully on-chain game out there. A big strategy game. This also means that there's a hefty amount of transactions getting signed. Due to this, and if you go like a few years back, Eternum on Ethereum would have been extremely pricey, to actually play through. So these constraints led them to start building on Starknet as one of the first projects to start shipping a game there, because it was a better scalable solution for their specific game model. And Eternum is what is in the space called like a maximally on-chain game. They leverage the on-chain capability to the darnest. On Starknet, there are several things that make this very possible. So these are the coding language that is used for Starknet apps, which is called Cairo, and the fully on-chain game engine that is used for settling games on Starknet or on Celestia recently, which is called Dojo. So Dojo is also what many of these early fully on-chain game builders started contributing to. It's an open source fully on-chain game engine. So instead of all of these games building their own physics engines on-chain, they just decided to start pushing their heads together and start contributing to the same engine stack, which is now stable, and I think it's used by more than 60 game titles. It's incredible how many new fully on-chain games are popping up everywhere. So it's a really exciting time. And Eternum is right in front of us, right? I think 1 week from when we're recording this. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, Starknet was my personal gateway to the fully on-chain game space because Eternum started building there.
Can you say more? I'm curious. What specifically about Starknet? Is there anything more than the Dojo game engine, that's huge in itself, but I'm curious if there's anything more that makes it like a great place for games to build.
Yeah. This is a question I get often because the majority of games I spotlight are Starknet games, just because Starknet has the most fully on-chain games. As I mentioned, over 60 in various stages of development, so crazy amount. And fully on-chain games, if you're a maximally fully on-chain game, that will also mean that the stack is open source. The fact that you have so many teams coming together, everybody's building open source, everybody can utilize each other's assets. Often there's also free copyright licensing. This ethos of everybody shipping fully open source games and the Starknet's ethos, I don't know how familiar you are with the Starkware team. They are all fans of open source, of helping one another in every way possible. So I think that has very beautifully trickled down to all of these game teams, where I'm in different kind of group chats with the Starknet game builders, and they're working together. They're thinking of how to integrate go-to-market strategies together, how to leverage each other's assets, how to, if someone has a problem with their code base, they have some kind of blocker, there's probably another game team that managed to crack that with their own game because they're using the same engine, Dojo. So all of these teams are helping one another, usually free of charge. When I go to any Ethereum conference, it's usually Starknet or Dojo hosts some kind of gaming event. So all of these builders then also come together, and it feels like one big, massive family. Another boon that the Starknet game ecosystem has is the Realms ecosystem, of which Eternum is the flagship game. In 2021, when Loot came out, the Loot project, one of the projects that spawned from that was the Realms NFT collection. So it's 8,000 realms, 8,000 lands. That sparked this ecosystem. The first game that started development was Eternum, but now you have several other fully on-chain games that have actually just recently gone live, like in the past few days. One game is Blob Arena, which is this Pokemon-inspired retro graphics battler that is entirely on mobile. You would never think it's a fully on-chain game. It functions like a Pokemon game. It's beautiful. Another game is Pistols, 17th century kind of pistols, swords, dueling game. Probably like the most artsy on-chain game that I've come across. I've been playing that the most for the past like 2 days. So those are two games. Another one, very different vibe, is called Ponziland, the most financialized fully on-chain game that I've ever come across. DeFi, but in a very gamified way. And I think they had a tournament 2 weeks ago, which attracted more than 100 players playing for several hours a day. Incredible how you can get like this objectively small player bases, but deeply engaged. And because of the financial stakes, even a small kind of bubble of players can bring a lot of value. Yeah, all different kind of shots at the target. But yeah, the Realms ecosystem is one of the hearts of the Starknet gaming ecosystem. Yeah.
Is the best way to keep up with you? Because I would love to keep up with everything you're doing. Is it just like following you on Twitter? Do you have a newsletter, like podcast? What's the best way?
So the best way to follow up with FOCGERS content is the Twitter account, that's for sure.
Okay.
It's just FOCGERS. On Twitter, I release pretty much daily content. If there's something cool happening in the fully on-chain game space, I'm probably covering it. There's gonna be a hefty amount of stuff coming out around Eternum specifically, which I know you're also interested in. I know that you'll also be playing with my tribe, yeah? So that's exciting. Strategizing is actually happening today, later today and tomorrow with the guild leaders, and then we'll start inviting people into the tribe, including you.
All right, yeah, you got to teach me though. I'm new.
What's something that you would hope the space would understand more about fully on-chain games?
Okay, yes, that's a great question. And I think what they could better understand is, I think you laid this out very beautifully, of that fully on-chain games just take all the benefits that Ethereum has to offer and applies them to gaming. I think people, including myself, prior to this conversation, thought a little too small about on-chain gaming. And I think it might just be because like I had one example in my mind, which was a FIFA cards example, and I couldn't really break out of that. And I think you did a good job of just being like, look, like you're an Ethereum enthusiast. Imagine applying everything that interests you about Ethereum in other realms and just taking it and putting it on gaming. And I think that has really changed my perspective on things. So that includes forever games. That includes like verifiability with just every move you make. Those were the two really big new ones for me. And then it also includes just that stuff I already knew, like ownership, tokens. Yeah. So that was, I think, what people can learn.
Awesome. Yeah. If we draw the line after what you said, my whole thing, why I'm excited about this space is that being a gamer my whole life, seeing the new generations as well, like my nephew, my niece, everybody's a gamer. More and more people are going into games. Very possibly we're heading towards a Ready Player One future, right? Where a game will come from a specific space that's gonna take over the world. I would very much hope that this game will be a fully on-chain game and that it will leverage all of the Ethereum's properties. Because if this game will be taking over the world, I would much prefer it to be following the Ethereum ethos as opposed to being like this big, decentralized, slow-moving engine that we would probably see if it would come from the AAA gaming industry. So that's my take. I think it nicely rounds out why I think the Ethereum properties are so important to, and what they could bring to the world of games. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, do you have any final thoughts there with the audience? You can imagine you're speaking with players of fully on-chain games, builders, speculators, investors.
Yeah, I say my final thoughts are, I think that this space is going to surprise people. I think that it's not on most people's radar anymore. It was very popular during the last NFT boom. And now, unless you're a dedicated gamer and / enthusiast of the properties of Ethereum, you've written it off. And I would say that is somewhat of a mistake. The people that are there are now like extremely passionate about it and like more indie gamers. And it's really just going to take one game that catches on, and then look back and you'll think, I can't believe this was right, like under my neck the entire time and I wasn't looking at it.